This presentation is an introduction to anatomy and physiology. We will discuss why we study anatomy and physiology and how they differ. We will also discuss the concepts of homeostasis and metabolism. Anatomy is the study of internal and external structures in the body. A structure is the actual form, location, shape, and size of the objects that are found in the body. A structure can be seen, touched, and identified. Each structure has a name and can be identified specifically by its physical characteristics. There are two divisions of anatomy: macroscopic or gross anatomy and microscopic anatomy. Macroscopic structures can be seen with the naked eye. In contrast, microscopic items can only be seen with special equipment such as a microscope. Macroscopic anatomy includes dissections or cutting apart a structure to handle and observe it. X-rays and medical imaging is used to see structures that are not visible because they are inside the body and covered with skin. Using a microscope allows us to see structures that are too small for the naked eye or microscopic. Being able to identify and label structures is essential in the study of the body, and it is the foundation of understanding how the body works. Physiology is the study of how the body functions. It describes the processes that structures carry out to allow the body to survive. Processes such as muscles moving, seeing, vision, smelling, and breathing. Physiology studies the essential functions of life. It's important to know that you understand these concepts. Let's test your understanding. Please pause the video and read the question carefully. Here is another question to test your understanding. Please pause the video and read the question carefully. What is physiology? A characteristic of physiology is that form follows function. The structure we identify in the study of anatomy has a shape and form that allows or facilitates the processes of physiology. For example, the shape and location of the ear, that's anatomy, allows for sound waves to enter the body and communicate with the brain, where processes will occur to produce sound. That's physiology. You will see how the form of a structure is specific to what the structure needs to do. Form follows function. What is pathophysiology? Pathophysiology is the study of the physical and functional changes that occur during disease or illness. Pathology is the study of disease. If we break down the words pathophysiology and pathology, we see a root word of patho, which means disease. The ending or suffix ology means study of. By breaking down medical terms into root and suffix, we can know the definition of the words used in anatomy and physiology. Pathophysiology uses the root word patho and suffix physiology. Physiology is the study of normal functions of living organisms, which includes the human body. Medical terminology is the study of the words used to describe structures and processes in the human body. Hence, the study of the physical and functional changes that occur during a disease process is pathology. A pathologist is a scientist who studies the causes and effects of diseases. They examine laboratory samples of body tissues for diagnostic and forensic purposes. Pathologist includes the suffix or ending logist, which means one who studies. So pathologists study disease. Let's test your understanding of form follows function. Pause the video while you answer the question. Let's test your understanding of microscopic and macroscopic anatomy. Please pause the video while you answer the question. Homeostasis. For the body to function normally, it must constantly monitor both its internal and external environment. Then, once it determines the needs of the internal environment, it will make the appropriate adjustments. Homeostasis is a physiological process in which your body monitors and maintains a stable internal environment or equilibrium. Homeostasis is a dynamic process, and it is essential to the body for survival. With homeostasis, changes occur automatically to keep the body in the proper range. Examples of homeostasis are temperature, getting hotter or colder, heart rate, beating faster or slower, blood pressure, higher or lower, oxygen levels, increased or decreased. Let's take a look at some medical terminology. Hyper is the prefix for high, beyond, excessive, or above normal. Tension means pressure, so hypertension means higher than normal blood pressure. Hypo is the prefix for below normal or less than normal. Hypotension, therefore, is a lower than normal blood pressure. So, what do we call the point in the body when things are within the normal range? We call that the set point. The normal physiological range in the body for optimum functioning has very narrow limits. A set point is a physiological value around which the normal range fluctuates. Homeostatic regulation are the adjustments made in the human organism to maintain the stable internal environment of the body. Homeostasis is a dynamic state of equilibrium. The term dynamic means always changing and adjusting. So we are always changing and adjusting the conditions inside of our body so that our body remains in equilibrium or in a state of balance. Let's test your understanding. Please pause the video and read the question carefully. Here is another chance to test your understanding. Please pause the video and read the question carefully. Let's pause the video while you answer this question to test your understanding of homeostasis. A homeostatic mechanism is a self-regulating process by which a living organism can maintain internal stability while adjusting to changing external conditions. Something that regulates actions in the body, like a thermostat regulates heat in your home. Some examples of homeostatic mechanisms in the body are body temperature regulation, blood pressure regulation, and blood sugar regulation. How do homeostatic mechanisms work? There is something called the feedback loop. Feedback loops control homeostasis in the body. A change in the internal environment causes a response in a feedback loop. There are two types of feedback loops: negative feedback loop and positive feedback loop. A negative feedback loop moves the body towards the set point and maintains homeostasis. Negative feedback is self-regulating. It will turn itself off once it reaches the set point. In other words, once the set point is reached, the negative feedback loop will stop working. Negative feedback is the most common feedback loop in the body. The negative feedback loop can push in a positive or negative direction depending on the original stimulus. Click on the link below to go to the YouTube channel and see a quick video on negative feedback. A positive feedback loop, or vicious cycle, moves the body away from the set point. In other words, a positive feedback loop is moving your body away from the set point that has been established for homeostasis. Positive feedback requires an off switch to prevent it from going out of control. The positive feedback loop is less common in the body because it moves away from the set point. It is time to test your understanding of homeostatic regulation. Don't forget to pause the video to give yourself a chance to answer the question. Now, let's test your knowledge and understanding of negative and positive feedback loops. Please pause the video to answer the question. Here's another question about negative feedback loops. Please pause the video if needed. Metabolism. This is a term I'm sure you've heard many times, but did you actually understand exactly what metabolism means? Metabolism is the sum of all chemical reactions that take place within each cell of a living organism. Metabolism provides energy for vital processes and for synthesizing or making new organic living material. Metabolism is all the energy and material transformations that occur within living cells. All human cells require the process of metabolism to survive. There are different types of metabolism. Here are two new medical terms. Anabolism, the process by which a smaller compound is built up and used to manufacture materials for growth, repair, and reproduction. An example of anabolism: the assembly of a simple amino acids to form complex proteins. Just so you know, an amino acid is considered the basic building block for a protein. ANA, an ana, is a prefix meaning up. Bolism is a root word meaning building or breaking, so anabolism is building up. The opposite of anabolism is catabolism. Catabolism is the process by which complex substances are broken down into simpler substances. An example of catabolism is the breakdown of food into simple chemical building blocks, such as sugar or glucose, into ATP or energy. So, CATA, kata, means down. Bolism is to break down. So we have processes in the body that build things up, which is anabolism, or break things down, which is catabolism. Let's test your understanding of the difference between anabolism and catabolism. Please remember to pause the video and take time to read the question carefully. Here is another opportunity to test your understanding. Please read the question carefully. Thank you for watching this video, Introduction to Anatomy and Physiology, Homeostasis and Metabolism.